The big political and economic question of the 21st century will be, what do we need humans for? Or at least, what do we need so many humans for?
Do you have an answer in the book?
At present, the best guess we have is keep them happy with drugs and computer games.
And America did add more positions, but unemployment went up. Now, one of the reasons for a weakening labor market could be the emergence of new so-called unemployables, often professionals who can't get back into the labor force. Some of the problems, AI-led automation.
I think education is one of the earlier use cases that AI can quite be applied on broad cases. I think the biggest one, as we've seen already in the education space, is what we call it hyper-personalization learning. And in education, that's basically the holy grail, because every single individual, depends on who you are, have a very different needs of learning. But traditionally, it has been extremely hard to offer a hyper-personalized learning path at scale for all of the learners. That goes from K-12 education, higher education, to training in a corporate setting, right? Like, so for example, take corporate setting. It has been very hard for companies to even identify the areas of gap in skill set for employees to then offer a training solution and offer a generic blanket training solution for the entire team would be very costly and yet might not really address the skill gap. Same for school environment. And so with AI right now, especially with Gen AI, the ability for us to automatically generate content on the fly and the efficiency of it, allowing for the hyper-personalization of learning to be extremely powerful. That's allowed for better student engagement, better learning outcome. It's allowing for the learning to be quite adaptive on the fly to each of the learners' ability. Each of us have a different way of progressing. Some of us take a lot longer to digest and learn the content. Some of us move a lot faster in certain domain. And so I think that's the biggest one that we currently see right now in education that has been, we're seeing a lot of applications and services and offerings that cater to that on multiple domains, from skill set to math to language learning to science and STEM learning as well. And I think the second one that we have also seen in education that's quite powerful, in addition to that, is what we call it conversational AI for learning. That's allowing for 24/7 support and instant feedback beyond the classroom. So traditionally, you rely on teachers to ask for questions and interaction. And up until recently, when generative AI with a massive amount of content, that has not been possible. You have to rely on asking the back and forth questions to a teacher when they are available. And previously, before generative AI become such an enabler right now, AI used to be quite static. It means that it will tell you a certain response, but you cannot ask back and push back on that one. Now, that ability to have a conversational AI that you can truly interact with, and it has no limit of knowledge, is extremely powerful, because you can just ask about any topic, right? You can work in any domain, and you don't need to wait for another teacher to really train you that. And I think the combination of having a true virtual tutor or AI that understands you, where you are, what your gaps, what your needs are, understand your weaknesses, your learning style, and then the ability to interact on a 24/7 basis is really what will change the education landscape in the coming years.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And you know I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And make sure you're joining the Patrons. If you're not a part of the Patrons, make sure you're hitting the Cash App. And yes, the new unemployables. And guys, they're going to keep pushing this narrative while they bring in all this automation. And remember, guys, this technology is over a decade old. It's already ready. They just need that crisis to bring in all of it. They're bringing a little at a time, but that crisis will allow them to bring in all these machines that take over the economy while the sheep sit at home and get free money. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. Now, I don't know whether you checked out the World Economic Forum in the past few weeks. Make sure you go check it out. Click on the live And it was all about China. And we had Klaus Schwab there. Remember, he was supposed to be sick, but no, he showed up for China. And we had China speaking about the fourth industrial revolution. But the most important topic is AI teaching the kids. And that's the reason why I keep telling you, make sure that you're educating your own kids, getting to understand this technology so therefore you don't fall for the devil's tricks. Because this technology is going to be biased. We know the people who are programming the technology. And you definitely don't want your kid to think that these machines are smarter than them, even though they're using them. Remember, this technology can be used for good or evil. One of our Patreon members asked me a question about blockchain. If it's used for evil, why are we using it? Remember, guys, all this technology is from the Most High. But the fact is, we allow it to get into evil hands that use it for bad. This technology, blockchain, cryptocurrencies, can all be used for good. We see the good that can come out of it. And again, that's the reason why we need to make sure we're staying educated. Because if you do have AI, if you do have gaming, teaching the kids what they can personally teach the kids instead of being taught as a group. We know everybody learns at different speeds. And then on top of it, if you can turn it into a gaming method where they can easily catch on to it and learn, guys, we know that is wonderful. But again, we know the hands that it's in. We know this technology is going to start off good, and then they're going to start turning it into evil. We saw this with television. Television came out and was great, very educational. And then what happened? They switched it up on us. The same thing with social media. You go on social media, you see over in Asia, they're learning things that are great on TikTok. But in America's TikTok's algorithm, they're talking about pranks and dancing. It is ridiculous. And that's the reason why it's so important for you to like and follow my TikTok. Make sure your kids are watching, you're watching, so we can get educated together about all this technology. Because, guys, it's definitely coming. So you definitely want to make sure you're prepared. Remember, my people perish from the lack of knowledge because they reject it. And then, guys, we have Biden. And we know Biden and Trump is all a movie, all a distraction, so you can fall for the divide and conquer while the money changers run the money in the back door. It's the oldest trick in the book, and it's been used for centuries. And remember, the Cryptoteacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
Yeah, this idea of this personalized tutor that might be able to adapt to our needs, our opportunities. What's your estimate, if you'd be willing to make one? How far do you think we would be away from being able to actually see one of those tutors in place?
Well, we have already seen some tutors in place, and it's actually now the personalized tutor and the AI power is actually more powerful than a human teacher when it comes to the ability to learn. Now, it doesn't have the social emotional learning part of it that the teachers actually complement to an AI tutor, but when it comes to knowledge base and asking for information, is quite powerful right now that we see. What we are seeing, the challenges with that personalized tutor, again, lack of that social, emotional, human intelligence, is that it doesn't catch up with the learner's learning style yet, right? Like, I believe in my science data, this is the path that you should be learning. Now, whether the student will take it or not is a different story, and that's where teachers still come in place, right? So can we truly replace human tutor and have a personalized tutor that actually work? I think that's a combination. I don't think we will ever do that in education, but I think there's certain elements that human teacher will never be able to do and personalized tutor is doing right now. I think the second part that's really challenging right now for a personalized tutor is education training curriculum can only be as good as the data that come into it. And data availability, as you said, is still a challenge because there's a lot of bias in the data that we collect right now, right? And so what's good for certain demographics, and especially in education, might not be relevant to others. And so it has to be extremely careful with that data bias that we currently see to make the personalized tutor truly work for us.
You probably heard we had a little debate last week. Can't say it was my best performance. We love it. But ever since then, there's been a lot of speculation. What's Joe going to do? Is he going to stay in the race? Is he going to drop out? What's he going to do? Well, here's my answer. I am running and going to win again.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. With triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is, it's digitizing gold.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of the huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we could have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Chinese bank ICBC has been hit by a ransomware attack, and the U.S. Treasury market, as a result of that, has been disrupted. This, according to the Financial Times. We're getting more right now with Bloomberg's Shonali Bassick. Shonali, what do we know?
Listen, we have the Financial Times now reporting that ICBC, one of China's largest banks here, was hit with a ransomware attack. And remember, they're a very significant intermediary in the Treasury market. The SIFMA has told its members that this has been part of the reason here that the system is kind of clogged up, if you will, during that auction that we saw a little bit before. The attack had prevented ICBC, according to the Financial Times, from settling Treasury trades on behalf of other market participants. A large executive at a major bank also telling the paper that such a large party on the fixed income clearing corp creates major concerns, potentially impacting the liquidity of Treasury markets.
Now, it was not just a poor auction. It was absolutely lousy, and when the dealers have to step in to save a treasury auction, that's a rare occurrence. And
Cryptoteacher and the new World Order book, plus the 3 kids books, It's Time to Re-Educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get on stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing, they were still getting that free money. What are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know, I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID-33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.